Dr. Schneider, Dr. Schneider, Dr. Schneider. He was great. No, in fact, brilliant. He was one of the best, if not the best, dentist in the city. His client list was politicians, well-known business people, socialites, one or two celebs. I mean, he was there. As far as teeth are concerned, Dr. Schneider was your go-to. The problem was Dr. Schneider was hiding a secret that was viciously about to be dragged into the light. It all started about 18 months ago when Lily, his dental assistant, started to notice things that were making her very uncomfortable, quite frankly. Things that made her uneasy and really just question, this is not the man I came here to work for. This brilliant person who I once knew is not the man today, and I'm not quite sure this is still the place for me. One particular day while they were in theater, she smelled something on Dr. Schneider. It was very sour and potent, strong. And initially when she smelt it, she thought, no, there's no ways. And then of course, when he leaned in to take one of the instruments across the table, that was it. He reeked of vodka. And she didn't know what to do, what to make of it, what to think. Should she even say something? But she knew how it made her feel, which is no, absolutely not. This man, no. And then, of course, that was accompanied by just a series of unexplained, but quite frankly, unacceptable behavior, including the fact that he was often late. On one particular occasion, she had to lie to one of his patients, claiming that he was still in theater, when in actuality, he hadn't showed up yet. Everything was just the snowball accumulating, and Lily was getting sick and tired. A couple of months after that incident, here comes Mrs. Kaplan, Diana Kaplan. Now, her and Dr. Schneider knew each other from the social circles. They had bumped into each other quite often, and Dr. Schneider had become quite good friends with Mr. Kaplan, her husband. And he also knew that, the whole town knew that Diana was having problems with her husband. She was having problems in her marriage. He was being unfaithful, and she attributed a lot of his behavior to the fact that she was just growing old and he probably didn't find her as attractive. And so she did what she could. Botox there, fillers there, getting her body sculpted there. Her next thing was, Dr. Schneider, I need to get my teeth done. I need a new smile. I need my husband to look at me the same. And so, of course, he obliged. These were people that he considered to be friends. And his saying was always, there's nothing a good smile can't fix. And so, of course, come into my office. And so they scheduled it, consultation, all of that. And then was the day of her procedure. Got there and Lily showed her into the room. Obviously, prep work had been done. She sat there. Dr. Schneider shortly came in. He did what he needed to do. Everything went relatively smoothly. Well, at least Lily and Mrs. Kaplan thought so. And then she went home. 5 days later, she received an email from Dr. Schneider's office. And so she opened it. Subject line, play me. She clicked play. Before she could even let a sound out, she dropped her glass or her cup of coffee. There it was, a video of Mrs. Kaplan, Diana, in the recovery room after her procedure, confessing to cheating on her husband. She was telling Lily, under anesthesia, of course, that this is what's been happening. I've been cheating on my husband with his business partner. This affair has been going on for 8 months. I want to break it off, but I just can't. I'm really attracted to this man. Physically, he satisfies me. We're in such a great, just going on, singing his praises, just like everything connects. And I just don't know. I don't want to lose my husband, but at the same time, I don't want to let him go. We've spoken about it. We both agree it's wrong, but I just can't stop it. Now, the whole time she's confessing this, Lily is standing there trying to get her to quieten down, like, Mrs. Schneider, please, Mrs. Kaplan, please. Just try and relax, let the anesthetic wear off, just try and relax. She was feeling uncomfortable and shame. Lily was a good person. She didn't want to be a part of the foolery and the mess. And she most certainly didn't want Diana to be embarrassed after the fact. So she's just trying to get her to relax and calm down. It's okay, just sleep, let it wear off, we'll wake you up. And the first thing Diana thought was, does Dr. Schneider know? Does he know? A couple of minutes after that, she got another email. And the email gave her very, very explicit instructions. Send $15,000 to this particular account by this particular day. Otherwise, Mr. Kaplan will see this video. He will know all about your dirt. Send the money and make it snappy, ma'am. I mean business. And of course, the email was signed W. Schneider, Wesley Schneider. She couldn't believe it. This man who I've been friends with, this man I introduced to my husband, this man who I've given business to countless number of times, is blackmailing me, threatening to tell my husband about an affair. How could this be? Why would he do this? How dare you? Who does he think he is? But of course, she couldn't even tell her husband this was going on. The last thing she wanted to do was lose him. So of course, she did what a lot of people would do in that situation, and she paid him. Within no time, Dr. Schneider was back at the casino. He was here. Poker table, here, chips here, playing. Now, that particular night wasn't a good night for him. He was up, then down, then up, and he fell back down. But he told himself, my luck is around the corner. I can feel it. I just need to come back here, ready the next time. It's going to be a good night. That's what he told himself almost every time he was at the casino. The next time is going to be a good night. Next victim, Senzo. Senzo was 8 years old, and he didn't particularly like the dentist. He found it to be a very, very scary place. The pain, the coldness of the rooms, it just was not his thing. And of course, when Tato, his mother, took him in, he was very anxious and he was agitated and he began to cry. And so Dr. Schneider said, no, come in, Mom, come in with him, sit down. And he explained to her that, look, I'm going to sedate him. We're going to use a very, very safe, friendly gas that's just going to get him to calm down, to relax. He's going to get very drowsy, and I'll be able to work on his teeth. You said that there's pain. Okay, we'll check that. I'll make sure I clean his teeth as requested, and then I'll check that pain. Pulling his tooth is the absolute last option. I'll have a look to see what's causing the pain, and we'll make sure we deal with it so that there's no pain. Okay, Senzo, we'll make sure that there's no more pain, my boy. Just let's deal with this as best we can, but pulling a tooth is the last option. And so she said, okay. So he gave him the sedative, and when Senzo started to feel calm and relaxed, he said, okay, Mom, you can go back to the waiting room. We'll call you. Lily will call you as soon as I'm done. 20 minutes later, Lily called Tato and said, he's done. And you guys can go home. He is a little bit drowsy, but it's nothing. He can walk. He's cool. You can go. A couple of days after that, Tato was in the lounge with her husband, and she said to him, baby, I need to talk to you about something. And he was like, what's up? And she said, I can't shake this feeling that something happened or something didn't happen in Dr. Schneider's room. And he said, what do you mean? And she said, I took him there. I took Senzo there. I told you, I took Senzo there to clean his teeth. And of course, to get the pain in his mouth addressed. But for some reason, his teeth don't look much cleaner. The ones in the front a bit, but towards the back, they don't look very clean. He said he had used a serum that was going to make the teeth a lot whiter as the days go. His teeth aren't getting whiter. And on top of that, his tooth is still aching. I'm not quite sure what happened, but he said that he managed to clean it out, to disinfect it. He gave him an injection in antibiotics. So what's the problem? What's going on? And her husband said, so what are you saying? And she said, I don't think he did anything. I don't think he did anything. And that's what's worrying me. And so he said, maybe say something. And she's like, what do I say? How do I prove it? What do I say? She was like, look, I think the best thing is for us to go to another dentist and have him looked at again. Yeah, but Dr. Schneider, I'm sure about this. It just seems very no. Not too long after that, it was Mr. Govender's turn. Lily showed him into Dr. Schneider's room, onto the operating chair, and told him, relax, Dr. Schneider will be in with you in a few moments. Is there anything I can get you? Water? No. He was like, no, I'm fine. Mr. Govender sat there on the chair, texting away, responding to emails, texting. Here, on his phone. Shortly after, Dr. Schneider walks in with a big smile on his face. He was very well known for it. Big smile on his face. Mr. Govender, you're back. Nice to see you again, sir. How's life? How's the wife? This, that, and the other. Pleasantries out of the way. Okay, kick your feet up, relax. I'm going to take care of you. And so he did. Mr. Governor was very happy with the service, very happy with what Dr. Schneider had done. Until a week later, when he received an email, subject line, embezzlement. Malcolm opened the email, Mr. Govender, and saw a video attached. And so he opened it. And there it was, right there. A video of him on his phone in Dr. Schneider's room, responding to text messages that were very incriminating. You see, what he didn't know, in fact, not even Lily knew, was that Dr. Schneider had a small camera inserted into his dental light. So anything under the dental light could be seen, including people's conversations and texts, including calls that were made on that chair. Then there were screen munch pictures blown up to show that I caught you. The video may not be able to show it clearly, but here, bam, took a picture of that message. Here it is. You in cahoots, stealing money from the company. I got you. And then a couple of minutes later, after that, there came the message. Send $40,000 to this and this account, otherwise your company will know. Now, here's the thing. Dr. Schneider was being smart. $40,000 is a lot of money. But in comparison to what Malcolm Govender was stealing, it was peanuts. It was a drop in the ocean. And he wanted his cut. He wanted his cut. Gotcha. Now you're going to pay up. Now, in Malcolm's mind, he was feeling like he was furious. How dare this criminal try and steal from me, blackmail me? But he also knew that, what other option do you have? It's this or an email to the company and the police. Pay up. It's $40,000. minus that big amount of money you've already made. Pay up. And so he did, with his teeth clenched, gritting his teeth. He paid up. There was a particular day in the office when Lily was walking past Dr. Schneider's room, and she overheard him with their financial manager. And the financial manager was explaining to Dr. Schneider that, look, things are not as great as they used to. Financially, the business is not making as much as it used to, so we need to relook at it. And one of the things I need to advise is that you go back to your strict professional working hours. You taking less clients is not working. I'm not quite sure what you're doing in the mornings. Of course, that was the time when he was recovering from hangovers and rushing in late. I'm not quite sure what you're doing in the mornings, but we need to go back to a very strict, structured a schedule. You need to get the clients in. You need to get the patients in. There's no ways we can sustain this. You need to get it together. Now, of course, when Lily was hearing it, she was just not feeling good. She was not feeling good. And she didn't want to make any more trouble. But she knew what the problem was. She knew that Dr. Schneider's life was falling apart. He was not as serious as he used to. And the drinking, my goodness, the drinking. And that wasn't the first time she smelt it on him. She knew something was not quite right. But again, she didn't know who to tell that to. She didn't want to cause trouble. A day later, Dr. Schneider called Lily into his room and he was like, Lily, sit down. And she was like, yes, Dr. Schneider. And he said, listen, I've scheduled one of our patients has scheduled a procedure. I'll be doing consultation with her later today. But basically what she wants to do is she wants a new smile as well. She wants explained it to her, and he said, now the reason why I'm telling you this specifically is because she is an influencer. I know you guys know all about that. She's an influencer. She happens to have close to 1 million followers, and we just need to make sure that we treat her very well, professionally. I mean, we treat all our patients professionally, with respect, with hospitality, but let's make it a point to really make her feel at home and welcome. This could be a great opportunity for this practice. We can bring more patients in, so let's just be on our best. And she says, yes, Dr. Schneider. Now, of course, Lily's not the problem and she knows it, but she's not going to say that to her boss. So she agrees. She says, yes, okay, I'll make sure that I'm on my A game. I'll make sure that I do what I need to do. The day Shyla comes in, the influencer, the staff are super nice. They are super, super nice. They make sure that they're there, making her feel welcome, making her feel at home, making her feel taken care of. Dr. Schneider is here, being the excited, jovial character he is. Lily walks her into his room and she says, please have a seat. Can I get you something to drink? Or can I get you some water to drink? And she says, yes, please, I would love some. My throat is a bit dry. Now, when Lily walks out of the room, the first thing Shyla does is find a place to put her phone. She's going Instagram live. She decides to put her phone down. Now, she's not going to ask Dr. Schneider or Lily if it's okay. She's one of these young influencers who's just like, I'm an influencer. I'm going to do what I want to do. And on top of that, she's promised her followers a day in the life of, and she's going to give it to them. So she finds a place to put her phone up and she goes live. Gets back onto the chair and Lily walks in. She gives her the water, she takes a sip and she says, Dr. Schneider is going to be in soon. I hope you're not nervous. If there's anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable, let me know. And Shyla's just like, no, thank you. You guys have been great. I am good. And she says, okay. Dr. Schneider walks in not too long afterwards. He introduces himself. doesn't introduce himself, but he welcomes her back again. And she's like, look, Dr. Schneider, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. And he was like, okay, well, sleep well. We'll see you in a couple of, we'll see you when we see you in a couple of minutes, or in about an hour, when your teeth are everything and then some. And he masks her. She falls asleep. And then they start again. Lily notices that bitter smell on him. This time she's a lot more clear about her disgust and her disapproval, and she looks at Dr. Schneider and then carries on. He's here in Shyla's mouth. Da, 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 da. Being unusually rough, and also his hands are very shaky. And she's watching him like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And he's here. Next thing, his glove tears, and he says, Lily, just do me a favor and grab me one of the gloves. And so she goes to one of the compartments, opens it, and the box of gloves isn't there. She looks at him and she says, that's odd. I replenished this box 4 days ago. Where are the gloves? And he says, that doesn't matter. Go to my office and that's where you can go and find the gloves. As soon as she walks out of that room, he takes a flask out of his pocket and takes a sip of whiskey. Back in his pocket, waiting for Lily to return. She comes back, he puts gloves back on, and he's here again, here. And again, not being as gentle, unusually rough. And she says, Dr. Schneider, you're going to chip her tooth. She speaks up this time. She says, Dr. Schneider, you're going to chip her tooth. Doesn't listen to her. Continues. Here. Sure enough, he chips her tooth. He stops and he looks at Lily. She stops and she looks at him. And there's this moment of, he says, Lily, do me a favor. Go and get this and this and this. We're going to fill her tooth. Pardon, Dr. Schneider? Lily, we are going to fill her tooth. She does as she's told. She doesn't approve. She doesn't like it. She's uncomfortable, but she does as she is told. She goes and she preps. While she's outside the room prepping, Dr. Schneider hears a song in the background because that was his vibe. He used to like to play a bit of music to keep the patients calm, play a bit of music in the background. He hears a song he likes. He gets up and he starts dancing around. He takes another sip of his liquor, and before you know it, his phone is out and he starts taking pictures of Shyla on the chair. Lily walks in and she's like, Dr. Schneider, what are you doing? And he's like, Lily, I was just taking pictures of Shyla. I was going to send them to her in case she wanted it for content for her page. And Lily's like, pictures of her legs. He doesn't say anything. She's like, Dr. Schneider, I think we should just finish up. Does what he needs to do, fills the tooth, this, and then the operation comes to an end. Now, while they were finishing up, Lily looked up and noticed something in the corner of her eye. Yeah. She saw Shyla's phone. What she didn't imagine was that Shyla was on IG Live. No. I don't think you heard. She was on IG Live. At this point, comments are going crazy. Oh my goodness, did you just see? Did he just take a sip of liquor? Oh my goodness, is he taking pictures of her legs? Oh my goodness, did he just chip her tooth? Why does the dental assistant why does Lily look so uncomfortable? What's up with this doc? Oh my goodness, perv match. Oh my word, what a creep. Oh my gosh, I'm getting rape vibes. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Where's this quack from anyway? Oh my goodness. Shyla, wake up. This guy is a weirdo. Comments section going back. Crazy. Again, what she didn't imagine was that she was IG Live. She thought that perhaps Shyla was recording it for content to post. And this time, Lily decided not to say anything. She'd had it with Dr. Schneider. He had taken it too far. After the procedure, Shyla wakes up and Dr. Schneider goes and has a word with her. He tells her everything went fine. You're good to go. I hope you love your new smile, this, that, and the other. And of course, doesn't say a thing about her chipped tooth. Not a thing. Not a thing. And leaves. Lily says to her, well, I'm just going to get your jacket. When you're ready, you can get up and, we can get to going. As soon as they walk out, Shyla gets up, goes over to her phone, and stops the live. 3 hours later, the police are walking into Dr. Schneider's practice. No, not walking, they bust in. And they said, Dr. Schneider, Dr. Wesley Schneider, you're under arrest. You, sir, are under arrest. And they took him away. And so here we are in court at the hearing of Dr. Wesley Schneider. There on the stand is Shyla talking about this horrific experience and what she saw in the video. And then, of course, there's also Lily sitting there ready to take the stand. In the spectators' booth, we've got Mr. Governor sitting front row, making it a point to show Dr. Schneider he's there to watch this. And a couple of seats down, we've got Diana Kaplan, also there to watch what's going down. What they don't know is that they have something in common.